Welcome back. So the other day I got an email from a very loyal viewer and supporter of the channel, a guy named Barry. He told me he had heard the old Question Mark and the Mysterians tune, 96 Tears, on the radio, I think it was. And he was listening to those keyboard parts. Da 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 da. Da 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 da, and he was thinking that they're really very rudimentary. Just about anyone could play them. So he suggested I do a video on songs that are very simple yet very effective, and I thought that was a great idea. So I'm going to do that now. This one's for Barry, and I hope the rest of you enjoy it too.
There is a town in North Ontario, a stream, comfort, memory to spare.
Whenever people speak of simplicity in popular music, the phrase three-chord rock comes up a lot, and this tune definitely qualifies as a three-chord song, although it's debatable whether you could call it rock. It's really a beautiful lilting ballad. This one's in the key of D. The three chords are D, A, G7. Okay, now to be fair, if you listen closely, they do play around with the G7 a little bit. I think I can hear this F go away. So technically that's G6, adding an E on top, and then ending on this, that's just G major. So, okay, technically there's kind of three chords in one on the G, but I'm going to call it a three-chord song. Whenever I hear a three-chord song that I really like, I tend to ask myself, damn, what is it that prevents this from becoming boring? It's really fascinating to me. And usually there's a number of different things going on. In this one, I think the intro is quite nice. It grabs you right away. There's long been speculation that it was a pedal steel guitar played by Jerry Garcia. Remember, we know that Garcia played pedal steel on another one of the tracks from the Deja Vu album, Teach Your Children. But this is not a pedal steel. It's Neil Young on an electric guitar using a volume pedal very effectively. You can even sort of fake it a bit without the volume pedal if you can manipulate the volume knob on your guitar. But I think the number one element that makes this song so compelling is Neil Young's vocal. Now, Neil Young's voice has long been a very polarizing thing, and I realize it might not be for everyone. You know, you hear people capping on the guy all the time. Oh, he sounds like a coyote yelping or something along those lines. But I think in his younger days, and this of course is Neil's younger days, his voice was strong and clear and really beautiful. It had a mournful quality that few vocalists could match.
Blue, blue windows behind the stars, yellow moon on the rise, big birds flying across the sky.
Yeah, so for me, he could be singing the phone book, as they say, and I would still enjoy it. But of course he's not, because Neil was also an incredible lyricist. But here again, the lyrics in this tune are also quite sparse and minimalistic. It's just two verses, the second of which repeats, and a chorus, and that's it. Bill Janovitz, of all music, called this song a stunning, nostalgic lament and one of the best three-chord songs of all time. There's definitely a lot of nostalgia in these lyrics. It's essentially Neil writing about his youth in Ontario, particularly a little place called Omemi. There are what appear to be some very warm memories. I love the opening. There is a town in North Ontario with dream, comfort, memory to spare. We hear about the yellow moon on the rise, the big birds flying across the sky, throwing shadows on our eyes. But in the chorus, there's a striking line. The chains are locked and tied across the door. When Neil was around 5 years old, he contracted polio, which left him with a slight but permanent limp. And I have to wonder if that line might be a reference to the stifled feeling he must have had dealing with that. At any rate, I think Helpless is a classic example of elegant simplicity, which lacks for absolutely nothing.
It's getting dark, too dark to see. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door.
As a guitar teacher, I can tell you that knocking on heaven's door has long been a go-to that I use for my beginner students as a way to just start working on strumming and chord changing skills. This one is not a 3-chord song, it's a 4-chord song. And I'm going to use it as an example showing how the difference of one chord, even one note, can be huge in terms of music and in keeping a song more interesting. We're in the key of G major here. We start with the 1-chord G to the 5-chord D, and then to the 2-chord A minor, right? But here's the secret that prevents this song from getting a little bit monotonous. The second time around, we get the G, we get the D, we're expecting A minor again, but instead we get a C major, the 4-chord. And this is what happens all the way through. It alternates G, D, A minor, and then G, D, C. It's almost subliminal, but I swear, it's really what makes this song work. As always, the A minor chord, like any minor chord, has sort of a gloomy feel. Think about the lyrics. Mama, take this badge from me. As I'm sure most of you are aware, Dylan wrote this song for the 1973 film Pat Garrett and Billy the Kid. And this opening verse is describing the death of a frontier lawman played by Slim Pickens. So the second line we get, I can't use it anymore. Listen to how that C chord the second time brightens it up. Now you might say, wow, that's not a very cheerful line. He can't use the badge anymore because he's about to die. But perhaps this is signaling acceptance on his part. Next we get, it's getting dark, too dark to see. A minor literally darkens the mood. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Alright, well that certainly sounds much more positive. It's really kind of brilliant. Let me go back to what I said earlier in this segment when I mentioned that one note can make a huge difference in a song. The reason A minor and C can be used interchangeably here, as mentioned, A minor is the 2-chord, C is the 4-chord in the key of G. And in any key, the 2 and 4 chords can substitute for one another. The simplest explanation is they share 2 of 3 notes in common. So A minor contains the notes A, C, and E, and C contains the notes C, E, and G. So C and E are shared by both chords, and it's that third note which is the only one that's different. So here's A minor. Take a look at my left hand. All I got to do to make it to C is that only one finger has to move. And that's why, even though they give a whole different feel, they can be used interchangeably. Knocking on Heaven's Door was a huge success. Rolling Stone put it at number 192 on a list of its 500 greatest songs of all time. This was the 2010 edition of that list. It was a top 10 hit in several countries, and of course, the subsequent years saw notable covers by people like Eric Clapton and Guns N' Roses. Dylan biographer Clinton Halen described it as an exercise in splendid simplicity.
Jane says, I'm done with Sergio. You treat me like a rag doll. She hides the television. Said, I don't know him nothing.
So we've had a 3-chord song and a 4-chord song. How about a 2-chord song from Jane's Addiction? It's not easy to take 2 chords and keep it interesting over the course of an entire tune, but Jane's Addiction absolutely pulls it off here. I love this one, and I think it succeeds due to 2 main factors. Number 1, the incredible and really heartbreaking lyrics from Perry Farrell, and number 2, the incredible juxtaposition between the lyrical subject matter and the musical mood of the song. We got 2 bright major chords, G to A. There's the kicker, the steel drums.
Jane says, I'm done with Sergio.
And what about that sing-song melody?
You treat me like a rag doll.
It's so funny, when I was listening back to this song earlier, I thought to myself, damn, this sounds like something they might have used in a Corona beer ad. I could just see some pretty couple sitting on a sandy beach and those steel drums going in the background. So I looked it up, and it turns out I wasn't far wrong. In 2005, this song was used in a Jack Daniels ad, and apparently it was also used somewhere in the early 2000s for a Volkswagen ad, which is really incredible when you consider the subject matter of the song. It's heavily based on a real-life woman named Jane Bainter, who was Perry's housemate, and really his muse, his inspiration, and the namesake of his group, Jane's Addiction. The song deals with Bainter's struggles with addiction. The lyrics hit hard right out the gate. Jane says, I'm done with Sergio. He treats me like a rag doll. She hides the television, says, I don't owe him nothing. But if he come back again, tell him, wait right here for me, or try again tomorrow. And then we get the refrain, I'm gonna kick tomorrow. I'm gonna kick tomorrow. Bainter admitted that the lyrics were mostly factual, although they heavily imply that there was also prostitution involved, and she denied that. We get the verse, Jane says, have you seen my wig around? I feel naked without it. She knows they all want her to go, but that's okay, man. She don't like them anyway. She get mad, and she starts to cry. She takes a swing, but she can't hit. She don't mean no harm. She just don't know what else to do about it. And really, if you were just listening casually, the only potential indicator of the dark story being narrated here is Farrell's raspy, unhinged vocal style. Now back to the music. As mentioned, G and A, but as usual, there are a couple of little variations. On the A chord, we get this cool little sus2 thing. That really adds a lot. Dun, 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 dun. Just imagine if it was just a plain old A chord there. Not not nearly as cool as I've seen some analyses of this online where people say this is in the key of D major, but I disagree. I understand where people are coming from with that. G is the 4 chord of D, and A is the 5 chord of D, so both chords are definitely in the key of D. But I tell my music students this all the time. If the D chord never appears, it seems nonsensical to call it key of D just because those 2 chords are in that key. This is G Lydian. G, again, is the 4 chord of D. Lydian mode is the 4th mode of the major scale. So, yes, the parent key is D major, but this progression going back and forth from G to A to G is G Lydian. However, the vocal melody is largely based around a D major triad. Some really great vocal melody choices by Farrell here. The first 2 words, Jane says, make a great statement. Jane is A, that's the 9th of the G chord. And then he goes to F sharp, which is the major 7th of the G chord. So, kind of unusual, but very striking. Finally, there is a little variation that occurs on the G chord later on in the song. He adds a flat 5 at one point. This is during Gonna Kick Tomorrow. That really adds a nice, dark, dissonant color to the proceedings. But then we're right back to so technically, maybe not exactly a 2-chord song, but bottom line, I'm in awe of what these guys accomplished here with a very limited musical palette.
And I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart. And I'm free, free falling. Yeah, I'm free, free falling.
If there was some kind of lifetime achievement award for writing simple but great songs, I think Tom Petty might take that prize. He's had so many over the course of his career. Stuff like Learning to Fly, You Don't Know How It Feels, and of course, Free Fallin', which I might describe as an ode to the power of the suspended chord. So if you want to play Free Fallin', it's pretty simple. Here's what you do. You put a capo on the 3rd fret of your guitar. You play a basic D chord shape, which is now F due to the capo. So here we go. F, F suspended 4th, right? Just add the pinky on the 1st string. None of these guys move. And that's the classic suspended 4th chord that you've heard in millions of songs. Right? Boston. Of course, I'm in the wrong key because of the capo, but you get it. Crazy Little Thing Called Love. Also in the wrong key, but I could go on all day. Free Fallin'. Now, as usually is the case, the sus4 is going to go away. Now we're going to remove the middle finger and we get something called a D suspended 2. In the D chord, this top note is an F sharp. That's the 3rd of the chord. So by adding this G a half step above, that's the 4th. And if I remove the 3rd, thereby exposing this open string, that's the 2nd. So sus4, sus2, and the D itself, and you can write a whole song around that, as Tom Petty showed. And that's pretty much what we get throughout the whole song. You might think, well, they probably change the chords when they get to the chorus or something, but not really. So, as usual, the brilliance is in all the little nuances, the little variations they throw in. For example, we have an uncapoed guitar playing almost the same thing. This is F again, but obviously lower than what we had initially. That's F suspended 4. This chord is interesting. I think I'm going to call that C sus4 with an E on the bass. So slightly different than the F sus2, but for practical purposes, almost the same thing. But you see it adds a texture in there. And then there's elements like the strumming pattern, which starts off very sparse. She's a good girl, loves a mama, and then picks up, right? That adds interest. And well, as mentioned, the chords pretty much remain the same, whether it's the verse, the chorus, or even the little instrumental breaks. There's a drastic change in the vocal melody that signals we've moved into the chorus, for example. Let's listen to that. Notice how the verses feature this very simple but very memorable melody delivered in really almost a speaking voice. And then when the chorus kicks in, he really belts it out. Petty is at the top of his range here. So even though the chords underneath just continue on and on relentlessly, we get this feeling that something new and exciting has happened.
I'm a bad boy, 'cause I don't even miss her. I'm a bad boy for breaking her heart. And I'm free, free for
And notice the bass gets a little more prominent here with those slides. Wah, 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 wah.
free falling. I wanna glide down.
What about this? In the fourth verse, they add this almost military sounding snare drum.
Name in the sky. I'm gonna free fall out in
It's, again, almost subliminal, but it keeps the thing fresh.
the world for a while.
I could go on, but one more nice little addition. Towards the end, we get this instrumental break where an electric guitar comes in and plays the same old basic progression, but in power chord form with the big slides. It kind of mimics what we heard on the bass. By the way, I keep talking about Tom Petty here. I should mention this song was actually co-written by Petty and ELO mastermind Jeff Lynne. I get the sense Lynne maybe came up with the original chords, and Petty was mostly responsible for the lyrics. The lyrics are another strong point here that adds so much interest. I doubt Petty had this in mind, but I've always read these lyrics as sort of chronicling the darkening of pop culture over the years. In the beginning, we're obviously in the 1950s. We get the innocent young girl who loves horses, Jesus, Elvis, and her mama. And then by the time we get to the third verse, we seem to have arrived in the present day. Well, present day meaning 1989 in this case. And we get the verse, all the vampires walking through the valley move west down Ventura Boulevard. And all the bad boys are standing in the shadows, and the good girls are home with broken hearts. A tale of lost innocence. Great stuff.